Picture once again from Westwood. These are pro-Israeli demonstrators, UCLA students marching to mark the moment of October 7th, 1 year since the attack by Hamas. This is one of several events doing so today. A solemn moment this morning, singing of the Israeli national anthem in Beverly Hills. That group gathering at 6:29, 1 year to the minute that Hamas began its attack on Israel. They're surrounded by 1,400 flags from 30 nations to represent those killed by Hamas on October 7th. Israel's Consul General in L.A. was there. He joins me now, Consul General of Israel. Bachar, thanks so much for being here. Good to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
1 year. What does that mean to you?
That our struggle as the Jewish nation is probably has not come to an end. That we need to still fight for our independence, and it's a long war. You know, 1 week after the attack on October 7th, I remember I say to my workers in the consulate, it's going to be a long war. Probably it's going to take a year. And here we go. We're 1 year after October 7th, and it's already a year of a war. But it's a war we didn't want to. It's a war that we didn't start, but it's a war that we're going to win because we don't have another chance but to prevail in our independent state in Israel.
You know, one of the things a year ago some people thought may not still be happening a year later is hostages are being held. We don't know the exact number of how many hostages are being held. What is an update in terms of their condition and any potential negotiation to get them out of there?
Our assessment right now, as we know, there's 101 people who are hostage in Gaza, and our assessment is that half of them are alive. That's the intelligence that we have. And just yesterday, our intelligence shows that most likely the leader of Hamas, Sinwar, is alive, and hopefully we're going to restart the negotiation with Hamas to try to come to a deal to bring them home, because they must come home. But on the other hand, as I say, this kind of a statement, also everybody needs to understand Israel is not going to stop dismantling the power of Hamas as a terror entity on our border. That must be stopped and must be eliminated.
You know, there's been a lot of criticism of Israel for the way they've prosecuted this war. We saw some of that even today, of all days. But critics say that Israel has gone too far, hasn't been discriminate enough in who they're attacking, has not really done a proportional response, and there's been thousands and thousands of innocent people lost as a result of that. What do you say to those critics?
I think, first of all, it's old critics at the beginning of the war, but since then, I think that other professionals, not Israeli professionals, but American professionals who understand the type of the combat that we are conducting, came out and say, from West Point, came out and say that there is no such an issue of proportionate war, but Israel do the most that we can to prevent any civilians casualties on the Palestinian side. However, it's not our fault, because really, as a tactic, as a strategy, they use their people as a human shields. So it's not up to us to come and protect. We are not the only one that needs to be asked to protect the Palestinian civilians. First and foremost, it's the role of Hamas and the international community to stop this war. If Hamas tomorrow is going to come out and say, I'm stopping the war, let's negotiate, the war is going to stop. But it's not only up to us to be the one that's responsible for the Palestinian civilian lives.
What does the end of this war, I mean, you just laid out one scenario, but we've heard that it's the elimination of Hamas. How do you do that? What does that mean? How do you know that Hamas is eliminated? When do you know, okay, we're done?
Okay. Israel does not want to kill every terrorist. We're not hunting every terrorist in Gaza. That's not our goal. That's not what we're aiming to. What we're aiming to is to make sure that Hamas stop functioning as an active terrorist organization with weapons on our border. We want to dismantle the infrastructure, the army infrastructure of this organization. That's what we want to do. And if we're going to succeed doing so, the war is going to end. That's one option. Second option, it's negotiation. If Hamas wants to stop the war and live to different countries and live abroad, we can negotiate it. But we cannot allow an active terrorist organization on our border. That's not going to happen.
Thank you so much for sharing your views, and please pass on our condolences to all the folks that you're seeing in these next few days. And I know this is such an emotional time for so many.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Consul General.